What's up, everybody? This is Freddy, and we're back in my horror corner. And I hope everybody's been having a great day, great weekend, and just want to send nothing but positive vibes and energy out there because honestly, we all really need that right now. So, if you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe for weekly content. I'm trying to put out videos once a week. I thought about the idea of trying to do 2 videos, but I have a job just like many other people, and it's just kind of hard. So right now, I'm learning everything as I go, sticking to it once a week, aiming for Tuesdays. And if you want to be a part of that and part of this found footage family, then please like and subscribe. So with that being said, I hope you're ready to come down to border town Sangre de Cristo with me and unravel the mystery together. Today, I want to present to you a faux documentary, mockumentary movie that came out in 2015, but actually was about 3 years to make for these directors. And I say directors because I think this is a record for us. We have 3 directors today. We have Phil Gundry, Simon Herbert, and David Wellen. And we have SAVAGELAND, folks. Now this is a great... I want to just put a spoiler right there, right now. This is an interesting take on an aftermath of a zombie invasion through the use of interviews and very blurry and disjointed looking photos. We have Francisco Salazar, who is played by Noel Montez. He is the lone survivor of this massacre that took place in this town where essentially about 50-something bodies were wiped out. Some were not even being able to be identified. Some were missing. And all we have is this guy and his film reel that is found later on in the movie. And we are taken through this journey of his trial, of this town, and ultimately his death. And it's a great, chilling tell. It's a little slow burn, maybe sometimes too much at slow. It's one thing I didn't like is that I felt a little bored towards the middle of the part, but there's things that pick up, and it's just overall a very chilling tell. Presented in a very unique way. I thought it was very interesting, and overall I loved it. We have a person named Lawrence Ross, who is actually an author in real life, and I just thought that was very, very authentic because they do name drop some of his books, and they use, like, I would assume maybe the cover art of some of his books, and they just implement the Sangre de Cristo town in there as if he is. And he did actually write, in the movie, he did write a lot of books on the case, and he followed the case through and through. He was the one who present the photos for us, which we find out later on a little bit about. But he was one of my favorite characters. Another really good character I thought was the ex-Border Patrol agent, who at first you kind of meet, and he seems just like these other people in this movie. I shouldn't mention now, this movie has a lot of social commentary, and even though this was a lot of footage in 2012, 2011, it feels very relevant to what's going on today. It's a lot of talk about illegal immigration and racism, but I felt like this movie's message definitely was anti-racism, because ultimately all these guys that are portrayed as the racists in the movie end up being wrong about Francisco Salazar. But yeah, this character, he's an ex-Border Patrol agent by the name of Carlos Olivares, and I looked up his name. His name is JC Carlos, and this was just, he was the main focus of taking us through this journey of the very first incident where Francisco Salazar's house is, and we go through this entire map of the town, photo by photo, and this guy, ex-Border Patrol agent, he just seems very informative, and I just really enjoyed going on this journey. Now, with some characters I did not like, and I guess that's good in a sense, but some of the characters just felt over-exaggerated. We have the sheriff of the town, Sheriff Pirano. And, I mean, I've seen these true crime documentaries before. So, I mean, I'm not saying I'm an expert, but I feel like there's more to it than just seeing somebody covered in blood and just being like, yeah, you're it, no questions asked. We're not even going to listen to your story of what happened. You obviously killed this entire town of friggin' people with your bare hands or like a knife only, whilst you were taking like photographs at the same time. So I don't know. He seemed like he tries to say that they didn't arrest him on the guys because Francisco was Mexican. They arrested him because he had 15 types of blood on him. but it just shows you that seemed like a very unfair trial. At the same time, I mean, can you really believe somebody like this? The photographs weren't even used in the court trial. I don't know much about procedures and stuff like that. They do mention it why, but I just thought that was baffling to me because once you look at these pictures, and I'll get into those later, it's relevant that there was something more sinister at play. And one other character that I freaking enjoy to hate is this like far right radio personality named Gus Greer, and he's actually played by somebody named Edward L. Green. Don't know much about him, but I enjoyed hating him because if you listen to AM radio, I've listened to AM radio before, and he sounds just like these dudes early in the morning, just with these. Hey man, everybody's got their ideas. More power to that, I guess. But it was just fun to hate this guy. So the characters I feel like were really hit or miss, but mostly a hit for me. So with my likes for the movie, I would say the biggest thing it has going for it is the narrative it's presented in. We are taken through, like I said earlier, this journey through the town using these photographs that come into play later on. When Francisco was, when he finally got out of the town and out of all the chaoticness, he was picked up by some random trucker. And later on, this trucker contacts Lawrence Ross, says that months later he found something cleaning his truck and it was like a film reel. And this is how we get the photos. And this is probably the best part of the whole movie because they're really blurry. And I don't mind that. Like, I get what they were trying to go with. I mean, the night is being taken over by zombies, and this guy's basic instinct, because he is an amateur photographer, is to capture what he can. He's not going to sit there, focus the shot while people are lunging at him. But I can agree with him wanting to continuously shoot. And they do mention some other photographer goes into that type of feeling that photographers have of being invincible when they're behind the camera. I thought that was a really good touch and legitimacy to add to why he's always shooting. But these photos, man, I mean, just look at them. They're bone chilling. They leave your mind open to this think. Like, I don't know. There was things about these photos that just still sit with me. And I watched this multiple times, and this is like by far the biggest like for me, and I loved it. And another thing I liked a lot about it, if you easily get triggered by this type of social commentary, I'm sorry, that's my fair warning, but I loved the social commentary in this movie. They said some pretty outrageous lines. There was a joke or two, or terms they use, and me being Hispanic, I was just like, dude, that's fucking spicy. But I like that. I like to be pushed. I like my boundaries being pushed like that. And it's like I said, I did enjoy the message it was trying to promote, because ultimately these guys that are portrayed as a racist in the movie are the ones that are wrong, because it is a zombie invasion movie. So that was a big like for me. And one other big like for me, it's probably like my favorite scene in the movie. Francisco, he is close with a family in town, and they're like preachers. It's a pastor in the town, and he eventually makes his way to the church to check on this family there. And this is probably the biggest strike he has on him, because supposedly he was attacking the pastor, and the pastor was so scared he ended up killing his kids and himself in fear that Francisco might get him. But we do have like a phone call he makes, and this part was so chilling. Like he's calling another pastor, and he's just rambling, saying, "Don't judge me. Only God can judge me. Only He knows what I've seen." And it just, oh man, this was my favorite part. That's the part probably where I got goosebumps the most. I'm even getting goosebumps right now thinking about it, because that's horrifying to hear something like that. And in this case, with this whole massacre happening, it just, I don't know, it was great, and I love that scene. So when I review movies like that I really enjoy watching, it's kind of hard for me to nitpick at things I don't like about it, but there are a few dislikes in this movie that I will go into. And probably my biggest dislike is just some of the acting comes off bland in these interviews. They don't seem too believable, and it kind of lost me in the middle. Like I said, I do enjoy a slow burn as long as it's keeping you going. But there is some interviews that just feel a little unnecessary at times. And like I said, just this is just me nitpicking because I like this so much. Another part I did not like is the sheriff. I did mention him in the characters, but he was a big dislike for me. Mostly because it felt very over exaggerated. His character, his the way his ideology is. I don't know. Just like the best word I can use to describe would be over exaggerated sheriff. But that was pretty much my two biggest dislikes of the movie. If I did have to just do one more dislike, I'm gonna just say the ending. Now, I felt like they should have ended it with this radio personality. He is talking and he's letting us know that after Francisco was tried and found guilty and he was executed by lethal injection, he was buried. And he's going on about how he's mad, or he's not mad, but he's going on about how his Francisco's grave was grave robbed. And I felt like that should have just left it at that. Like, he could have said the last few words and left us thinking. Because earlier in the movie, it is established that Francisco was bitten by these people. And that right there, it kind of lets you know it's a zombie type of attack. But it ends with near the end, there's a cutscene and there's a guy filming on a crappy GoPro camera. That's one thing I can't stand. These cameras are so good, but when people are filming on these things, they have this stupid effect where it glitches for some reason, so you can't make out too much. And this family out that's camping like 90 miles north of Sangre de Cristo is attacked by a group of people, and one of them is wearing an orange jumpsuit, and it's clearly our main guy, Francisco Salazar. He just risen from the grave and he came to attack. And I don't know, it just felt like unneeded if I had to nitpick at anything. One thing I want to bring up is why this movie is called SAVAGELAND, and I just thought this was so spicy. It's stated earlier in the movie that some of the white people cannot pronounce the name of this town, Sangre de Cristo. So what they do is call it Savage Land because it's full of Mexican immigrants and stuff like that. And I was just like, damn, dude. I don't know. I love that about this movie, though. I love what it was pushing, and I really enjoyed it. So my final thoughts for the movie, I would highly recommend this to anybody that's a fan of mockumentaries, faux documentaries, stuff like that. It was very interesting. It had a great narrative overall. It was very bone-chilling at times. Like I said, the photos is what really helps this movie, and once we get to that point, it's good. It's very good. There's little times where I did find myself a little bored, but nonetheless, it was a great movie. I love it. It's definitely up there in like my top 10, I'd say, found footage mockumentary movies of all time. So please go check it out. It's currently streaming on Amazon Prime. If you have that, a couple things I want to leave you guys with is, please be sure to go check out the subreddit for Shudder. It's a great place. If you don't even have the streaming service Shudder, I would highly recommend it. They're doing it so big this year. So please go check out the subreddit, though. It's a great place to meet people, interact. There's also a Discord server that I go on, and a lot of other people use. It's a very fun server. We have weekly watchings and giveaways, stuff like that. Another subreddit I want to give a shout out to is the found footage subreddit. If you go there, we're always sharing things where we try to at least share a lot of different movies or movies we enjoy of the found footage genres, stuff like that. You can follow me on Twitter as well. I'm very active on there and give recommendations. So if you enjoyed this video, please just like and subscribe, share, leave a comment. Let me know what you thought about this movie. If you enjoyed it, if you didn't enjoy it, if you just don't even care about me, whatever. I'd like to hear it. So just thanks, guys. Happy Spookies.